I would like to call upon stage a speaker to Toastmaster Annu John, who is undertaking the Pathways in Leadership Development Level 3 Project, Elective Project. And the title of the project is What Wrinkles Taught Me. What Wrinkles Taught Me. Over to you, Toastmaster Annu John. Please, the stage is yours.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of you like to iron your clothes that are wrinkled, crumbled? How many of you would like to do that job? I see no raised hands or a yes. I also, like you, don't like to take up this cumbersome job. So 5 years before, I handed over, or rather, I outsourced this job to another person. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Wrinkled trousers, blouses, skirts, and shirts tell the stories of arrogance, busy life, hectic schedule, and sometimes even the stories of indolence. These wrinkled clothes stretch themselves, straighten themselves, and fold under the sweat and the heat from Murugan. Murugan returned the neatly pressed clothes without even once misplacing or switching the clothes with other people. He used to correctly match the garments with their owners. Chechi, these clothes, they are not just pieces of fabric fastened together. These wrinkles unfold life stories, multitude of life stories. This Murugan used to jokingly tell me. How are things going, Murugan? Whenever I see him, I used to ask him, Chechi, everything good and great. A lot of cheer and pleasantness in his voice. But all good and great. No house of his own. His children are staying at their native place. He and his wife are here. No regular income. All good and great. I always wondered how this is happening. A few years passed by. One day, I went to him to give my clothes for ironing. Then he said, Chechi, I'm having serious stomach ache for past several days. I went to see a doctor at medical college. He told me to do an MRI. But why did he ask me to do an MRI for a stomach ache? I also couldn't give him a valid reason for that. But I told him, anyway, do as doctor has advised. Everything will be all right. A few days passed by. Murugan called me and told me that he and his wife are going home as they haven't met their children for a long time. About a month passed by. I was ironing my clothes one day. I was actually cursing Murugan. Why this Murugan is doing like this? He's not thinking about his future and spending all the money he has earned here. Suddenly my phone rang. It was Murugan. It was a sigh of relief from me. No more ironing. I took up the call. But it was not Murugan. It was Lakshmi on the other side, and she was sobbing. I could figure out some words from in between her sobs. Chechi, Murugan marichu vohi. Murugan is no more. Huh? Am I imagining things? Huh? What did you say? but she repeated the same words. Murugan is no more. Murugan lived a life full of struggles, but he always loved his family. He took care of them. He never wasted even a penny on drinks or drugs. He always treated his customers with respect and with his cheerful smile. I have never in my life, in this past 4 years, I have never even once seen him raising his voice at his wife. But all of a sudden, quite unexpectedly, he left this world, leaving behind his young wife and children. His dream for a home remained a dream. After a few months, Lakshmi, his wife, came back along with their son. Murugan never used to allow his fragile wife to do this tiring job of ironing. What she had to do was just sprinkle water on the crumbled clothes and keep back the pressed clothes back in their bags. But now suddenly she has become the sole earning member, breadwinner of the family. She took up the ironing job, that too with aplomb. But she never complained about the fate she was into. Just like Murugan, she never shared any of her worries with any of her customers. Chichi, all good and great. The same answer keeps coming from Lakshmi also. I don't know when she will be able to bring into reality their dream house. But I have learned life lessons from these two people, which I haven't learned in my school or college. To behave decently, you don't need education, social status, or the legacy of an aristocratic family. To win someone's heart, you don't need to be good looking or rich. All you need is the conviction that this is the best moment in my life. This moment is the best moment. Live it. That's what I learned from this couple. In our hectic race for a hefty salary, for a promotion, for a bigger car or a house, let us not forget that these are not at all necessary for a happy life. What we lead is that all good attitude. So, dear Toastmasters, how is it going? Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Let us hear from our second evaluator, Toastmaster Ajai Appoose, about Toastmaster Annu John's speech. Ajay Appoose.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Juice Kumar. What would be your comment after tasting an 18-year-old matured whiskey from an oak barrel? When I listened to Annu, Toastmaster Annu, with such an aplomb speech, rather on storytelling, and her project was connect with storytelling. That is all what I could say. Wine gets matured as time passes. I've been listening to Toastmaster Annu since 2019. I'm sure I have listened to all her speeches. Every time she makes a speech, she takes lots of pain in preparing it. The pain of preparation makes her deliver the best speech. Since the beginning of the Toastmasters Kottayam here, every week she had a story to tell as the president of the club. The same thing was replicated in a different way in this storytelling project today. The story was really good of Murugan and heart-touching. And I was very keen and curious to find out what mistake she's going to make. From beginning till end, I was looking to it. From tip to toe, my thoughts was that. I thought she's not going to give us a message, so I'll catch on that. But story had a message as well. And to be very precise with all aspects which she has gone through, the best thing what she did was that she made the background blurred. Just like I made my background blurred, she made her background blurred so that she stands out while delivering the story. That is very positive about the story she delivered today. Secondly, she used both sides of the screen to fit in just more like a stage act. It was not a speech or a storytelling, just like a stage act by using the space effectively very well. And the sound moderation, voice modulation was very well done from her end. One point which I would like to correct from her was she inclined to one side while delivering the story? The inclination to one side gives us a wrong view of the other side. Maybe when you are on a visual meeting, it may be a mirror image that may be replicated or visualized to the public. The same thing which I pointed a couple of weeks back to one of my other speakers, she was using her right hand alone, my other speaker. And today, the similar problem was not the hand alone. The gestures were fine, but there was an inclination to a particular side, which could have been avoided. And when it comes to storytelling, you can use a very, very powerful tool in storytelling. That is the pose. The power of pose when storytelling is very high, because when you find that someone is distracted or someone in the group is distracted, you give a positive story. Certainly people will listen to you. They think something is going to happen. So use the power of pose in your future speeches. Overall, it was very good. It is well connected with the audience, well delivered. All the best to you, Toastmaster Annu. Back to you, General Value.